Hey, this is Neil from masterpaintingnow.com, and I'm going to teach you how easy it is to paint like Bob Ross. So I'm using PAINTSTORM here. Let's get started. I got my Bob Ross brushes I'm using, which are free on my website, so just check that out. I also have an entire course on my website where I teach how to do this very thing. The first thing to do is to start off with kind of a, I call this warmer blue because it's going toward the warm. We're just kind of feel this in. You can call it dark blue, whatever you want to call it. That's using my sky brush, and bam, we just laid that color down really fast. Now we're going to go over here to more of a cyan blue, and I want that a little bit lighter here. Just kind of light up some of the sky a little bit like so. Light up some maybe what might be water down here, super easy. Then we're going to take my cloud brush here. We're going to go with kind of a, I might actually warm this up a little bit. Warm it up meaning going toward the warm, which I know looks green, but don't worry, it doesn't look green when you put it on there. And it's really easy, the technique on how to get clouds. Just get some. I'm also going to put just a little bit down here, what might be in the water, so I want the water to kind of resemble that. Put a little more like so. Then we're going to use the cloud blender. This, I usually would take a little more time doing this, but I just want to show you quickly here how we can get a nice looking painting without having to spend too much time. This is a really cloudy day. I'm going to kind of make all this down here really just kind of more like that. There we go, more fluffy. And then finally you can use our more detailed. I might even go more toward yellow with this one. Just add a few little highlights as if the sun is kind of off our picture, hitting some of these cloud tops. Like so. Next, take our mountain brush. I'm going to make it large enough to fit the, I like it about like so. I'm going to use kind of a bluer purplish color here. Make it extremely dark. We're going to have this peak over here, maybe a little peak like that. Really easy. It's just, the shape is designed to quickly be able to lay this down, like kind of like as if you're using a knife with the Bob Ross techniques. Like so. And then it kind of has this kind of blending mode. You just kind of lightly touch it and you can just kind of smear paint around like as if you're working with oils. Pretty cool. So that gives you quick defining shapes. And then sometimes I like to go over the edges like so, not too much, but maybe like that. Just kind of pull in a little bit of that lighter color like so. And then I'm going to kind of smear that back and then kind of just, there we go. That looks good. And now we're going to take our textured mountain brush here, take some of the cloud color and just pull this down a couple times here and there. Kind of find where you kind of want that, the kind of peak of that part of the mountain. So I want it right about there. This one's going to go like this. I usually start it at an angle and then kind of lightly move it, and the technique is very similar to using a knife. So there we go. And some of the parts I like to kind of smooth out a little bit, just to kind of make it, look more like, just kind of break up some of that. There, snow would probably fall. That's not right. Hold on. There we go. Might just fall a little bit in there. Then we're going to take a darker color like this darker sky blue over here and just kind of pull into the darker parts of the mountain. Some of the shadow side of the mountain there. You don't want to cover up all the darks though, but you do want a little bit of that shadow color here and there. Something like that. This is done really quickly. I would normally take a little more time to do this, but I wanted to show the quick techniques and how it looks like mountains. Is pretty cool. I'm going to zoom out a little bit for this part. We'll add a tree line now, but before we add the tree line, let's go ahead and use our awesome blender brush, and this is just going to very lightly just kind of go horizontally over this area. Boom, just like that. And that's going to kind of fade it out a little bit. Also, I'm going to go over all of this down here. I don't want to get rid of the texture completely, but I do want to get rid of a little bit of that texture, just to kind of start laying down the groundwork for the water horizontal plane. Now, I have this trees here if you want more hands-on, and this would be like really to customize and feel like you're doing it, but I'm going to do for this video, I'm going to do my quick one. So I also have this cheat brush I think is this one. This one. This will allow you to quickly put down trees. Kind of a bluish green color, come way down here. This dark, almost black. And we'll lay some of this down here, like this. Actually, I'm gonna go more blue because I want this way. This is going way more in the background. There we go. In fact, I might just go with that more sky color blue, but darker version of it. There we go. Kind of want this to be way in the background, so it's kind of taking on the atmosphere. And you just kind of go up and down with this brush a little bit like that. Then you go up here and you flip the brush upside down to get the reversed mirrored image effect, like so. And we just want some of these parts that are taller to be like that. Now that kind of gives us that reverse mirror effect, like I just said. I might want to put a little bit more, maybe darker trees as well, like use this darker color. And I'm going to flip this back now, like that, and make the brush a little bit smaller. And I might just add some, just debating what I want. Actually, I think I'm going to keep it like that for now. We'll decide if you want to do anything different with that. Take the awesome blender brush again, and we'll just kind of lightly, horizontally go across these and add that waterline back in there. This is actually going to create that waterline for us, but it's also going to make those, the reflection of the trees kind of still be in the water. The mountains might be far enough away that they're not going to reflect in the water. Let's see. Now we're going to add two little land masses very quickly here. So we'll go here. I'm going to keep it going maybe more toward the warm a little bit. This one I want to start like here, have a shape like this. Again, using the mountain brush, just kind of shaping this out, and then I'm going to kind of pull it like that. This one I want to come off the screen altogether, so it's out of view, like that. That looks pretty good. If you want to, you can use the textured brush. You can also use my dirt brush, which is way down here. And we can actually add some, dirt colors to that if you wanted to. And this would be only if way desaturated, is what I meant to do there. But a lot of this you're not going to really be able to see anyway, because we're going to cover it up with bushes. But I just want to show you that if you wanted to add a little bit of like rock texture, you can add something like that really fast. Let's go back to our bush brush here now. Well, not back to, we haven't used it yet. Bush number 4. Now we're going to put down some really dark color first, like so. And I want these bushes to be like this, and maybe a little bit smaller. There we go. Just define some little shapes here and make this brush a little bit smaller for these ones. This is a little more in the background, like so. Alright, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my waterline, take this nice bright color here, and this, you don't want to go like a, we want to break this line up, so just kind of make a couple little lines go across like this. And this is that very, very back waterline. I should have added that in before I did any of this other stuff here. I might add just a few more lines of water way back there, just here and there. It's like where light's kind of hitting the water, like so. And you can also take the water brush and just add some lines back there, just to kind of, that's a little too many. Let's make this brush smaller. Still too much. You gotta like lightly press it, but no. There we go. I just want a little bit of lines. I think that should be good. I'm also going to add a couple lines up here just so I can move into those. Now what I typically do is I take my horizontal brush first, and I want to just kind of take this dark color and I just kind of come right down like this. This is how I usually do reflections. I just kind of pull whatever colors I have there just kind of straight down. In other ways, you can kind of mirror what you're painting, and you can even use that same brush here. Now I know I'm going to have some more greenery in there, so I can kind of reflect that now using that same brush, and just kind of add just some. It's not so much. It's more of the color I want there than I do anything else. And then all you need is like horizontal and then vertical in order to get the feeling of water. Take a lighter color and just lightly brush over that, and boom, look at that, you got water. It's really just that simple. And I might add, I'm going to take my water brush now, and I'm just going to add a little bit more like reflective of water on top of that, just like that. Then you can take your waterline brush here, And again, these brushes are free on my site, so you can just go to the join my newsletter page and you can download them there. You can also sign up to the newsletter if you want to be, you know, when you want to have a really cool new lesson, free lesson that comes out. I'll notify people there. I don't really email that often. Actually, if anything, I get complaints that I don't email enough. So don't worry about it. I'm not going to be spamming you. I hardly ever email. But when I come out with something cool like a new course or something, I like to let everyone know that I have it out, or a new brush set or something. Oops, I didn't mean to make that diagonal line back there. Okay, so there we go. Now it kind of looks like water. Everything's good. Now at this point you can pretty much call it done if you wanted to, but let's go and add a little more details to it. We can go ahead and I like to take my detailed brush tool here. Let's add a little bit of some green. Just a few. Don't get rid of the dark. The dark, you want that dark there. I'm just adding a little bit of green to, pop it out a little bit. I might even add a couple really bright kind of yellow highlights here and there. Just little speckles of highlight. This is those few little leaves where the light is really just kind of playing on the leaves there. Just like that. That's where the light's kind of playing the leaves. If you want, you can also do some orangish type, maybe some fall, add just a little, maybe there's a little bush right here that's kind of, more fall-like, and there you go. And then maybe come up here and just add those few little specks where the sun is hitting it. Now you have just a little bit different color. You can do some red. You can do all kinds of different color. If you want to then reflect that color in the water, you can. Just kind of put some of that orange. There we go. Put some of that orange into. That's too much. Hold on. I'm going to use a different brush. I'm going to use brush number 4 for the reflection, but just add a little bit of that color down there. Maybe add a little bit more of that green, that brighter green down in here as well. Just like that. Just a little bit into the water. Then we're going to take our vertical tree brush here again, the pine brush, and just lightly go over that and just kind of boom, just like that. It kind of smears out a little bit. Take our water brush one more time. And you can also do this all in just one go, so I kind of doing this in 2 goes because I didn't really like how it came out, so I wanted more color in the reflection. But it's the same idea. You add what colors you want there, pull them down horizontally, pull them across vertically, and bam, you have reflection. Or just go across vertically after you lay the color down, and there you go. I could add some darker versions of the trees down here, and kind of blend up into the trees there for the background. And we can do that right now with the. Just trying to think what brush I can do. I could go back to the same tree brush, but just debating whether I want to do that. Take this darker blue color and just kind of, I'm just going to kind of start it with this. I'm going to show you how you can kind of, I could have done this right away. Actually, now that I think about it, if I were to repaint this, I'd probably start this right away. But look, it's really easy to still kind of fix it, and then we'll kind of just lightly go up, upward brush strokes with the tool here. And then I'm going to go horizontally. Oops. Make this smaller because I want to make sure I really bring that water line back in there. I want that water line to be like right there. And notice how some of that is brought down again, and you can actually take that and reverse that and put some reflections in the water with it. Click this icon here, reverse it, and take that dark color still. I'm just going to kind of punch some of that down like this. So I got some reflections. I always like to turn my brushes back to where I last had them, so they're ready to go again and they're right where they're what I expect them to be. And I'm just going to slightly come across horizontally now. I don't want to destroy too much of that texture. Up here, that texture I don't really need, so I'm going to blend that back into the trees. And there we go. Now all the trees are kind of blending. It look like, just kind of go over all of them like this with the up and down, like that, just little up and down strokes very lightly. What that does, it kind of adds a haze or fog. And if you want to kind of add, you can also do this to the mountain edges here. Add some haze or fog to some of the mountain edges there so they don't look so. I want some detail on the top there though. Again, pull horizontally across those bushes there, and that looks like reflection. Now we can just go ahead and take our water brush, add just a little bit more of this bright watercolor like we did before, and just add a couple lines there. Actually, you know what? First let's take our vertical brush here and just kind of pull it across like that. There you go. Actually, I want it a little bit bigger. And just kind of, there we go. Just like that. I just want that little streak there. It looks nice. And go back to this water brush. There we go. Now we can just add a little bit of light there. And you don't want to destroy too much, like I said, of the, kind of blur some of this out by just lightly going over it. I feel like I destroyed too much of the reflections there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way back to where they were much more defined, like that. And I'm just going to go with that vertical tree brush one time like this, just to add a little bit. There we go. That, see there, you can still see some of it now, some of the detail reflecting in the water. And then I'm going to go to the water brush again and just lightly add some here. Some, I want it more like in the middle, like right here, a little bit on the edge like that. And then we'll take our line brush, our water line brush here, and just kind of create a water line in the background here, just kind of very lightly, little spots here and there where you think, and kind of come back and forward a little bit like that. That's how water lines, you know, look. They're not just like one solid line. Then I might add a few little water lines here and there, just kind of coming out over the water as we come toward us like that. So you can see in 16 minutes, and I could have been done with this a lot faster. We can call that done right there. We don't need any big trees, but usually, you know, Bob Ross liked his big trees. So in memory of Bob Ross, let's go ahead and I'm going to just kind of blend some of those clouds out on that side and this side. There we go. Let's go ahead and make a big tree. So we can do that by using our vertical brush here. Grab that same kind of blue color. I don't want to have a contingent line like that where, see, the tip, the peak of the mountain and the tree are like coming to the same point. You want to try to avoid tangent lines like that. So we're going to come straight down like this. I'm going to make this brush smaller. That will be the tip of the tree right there. Bam. And then I can even use my angled one here. And we can like come, what if we have another tree and it's like right here next to it? I don't know, it's kind of at an angle. Something like that. I mean, you can either use this angled brush, which gives you some really cool control, and I haven't really shown a video how to do this one in one of my free videos, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. I'm going to go ahead and reverse this so that way it's facing down. There we go. Starting with the same dark color, have an angle, kind of lower the size of the brush here. I have shortcut keys set to my tablet itself. These are the bracket keys on your keyboard. Next to the P, to the right of the P, those two brackets. Kind of start at upward angle like this, and then kind of turn a little bit, so you're kind of going like this, and you're turning. Now you have to have a tablet that allows angled brush strokes, and the Cintiq does. I think also the even cheaper versions do as well. I'll do the other tree without this. I'll do the straight brush just so you can see that you don't need this brush to do it. You can actually do it with this plain horizontal brush, but this gives you a slightly different looking tree. And it's different technique. It's just fun to, you know, try different techniques. I'm gonna kind of leave some space there. We'll come down like this. I'm gonna kind of do this quickly here. Don't want to spend too much time on this. I don't know. I think I might have these trees kind of being blocked by the bushes a little bit. And there you go. So you can decide how much space, you know, how pretty you want the tree, how much space you want there. Okay, cool. And then to do that background tree, I'm going to do this horizontal brush here. So starting really, really small at the top, just kind of go back and forth. You know, seesaw, it's kind of like this. You're kind of like, I'm going to make this bigger. You're kind of going this way, this way, this way. You kind of seesaw back and forth like that. And then you're kind of tapping at the end so you can get the texture of this brush. Just kind of back and forth. This is how I usually do my brushes, or my trees anyway, is using just the horizontal one. And there you go. So it's kind of in the background there. Then I would use the vertical, make it smaller, and I would just kind of add a few, you know, vertical things like that in there just to make sure it looks good. Either one is fine. Having that tilt though is really fun. It really does makes painting a little more interesting. I'm going to take a kind of a green I'm gonna go like greenish yellow and go kind of, you don't want to go too bright, so we're just gonna add a little bit of green here and there. So this is to add some texture to our tree. And I'm just kind of more tapping this than I am. I'm just kind of tapping, pulling down just a little bit to add that texture. This kind of adds that fan brush texture. This is similar to if you're using a fan brush and just kind of pushing it and pulling it down. This tree back here is not going to have nearly as much detail. It's mostly just going to be these center the center of the tree and the kind of center branches. So I'm just kind of tap them here and there and just kind of pull those textures out like that. Yeah, it really does resemble using the Bob Ross technique where with the fan brush you just kind of tap the fan brush here and there and kind of make the you've seen the techniques before with the fan brush. Really cool. I actually show how to do that on this channel as well with actual paints. I actually show how to do Bob Ross with acrylic paints. You don't have to do oils. Oils are fantastic and great, but not everyone likes the smell and having to use turpentine and stuff like that. They do have water-based oils as well. But there you go, just a few little highlights. I don't want much, just a few. I might have went too bright there with the highlight, but this is where the sun really plays on some of those leaves and gives us some highlight back. So there you go, and now we have a cool set of trees. And we're done, 20 minutes, and we're done with the painting. Like I said, from here on out, it's just, do you want to add any more little details to it, and then before you call it done. And yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and usually what he'll do is he'll scratch into, he'll take one of his knives and scratch into the painting. But we're going to just take our mountain brush, reduce it in size, and we'll just kind of add a few little twigs here and there, just kind of pull them off in a few different directions. Maybe add a few little branches. He would do this with a liner brush, or he would just scratch right into the canvas to make more wider ones, which would kind of reveal the canvas itself. And so in this case, it'd be kind of like if you wanted to scratch a few light branches in there, you just use this lighter color, and that kind of gives you a similar result. If you want to just add a few here and there. And you can even add like an old dead tree. Let's say this is like a dead branch here kind of coming up like that. It's your world. You can just make it whatever you want, as Bob Ross said. This is all your world, your imagination. As I say, you're creating your own little happy places to go and visit. Hang them on your wall and just kind of, you can look at them. And also just creating the world, it has a really interesting, awesome feeling to it. Just trying to see if there's any other last touches I want to do here. Alright, lastly, let's take this little small mountain brush here and let's add a bird back here. It's really easy. You just kind of make the shape and then lightly push out the edges. If you want to see that up close, I'll do it again. So I'm trying to back up here. So you kind of just make a V shape like that with more harder presses. You want to start hard and then let off pressure. Kind of start hard and then let off pressure. And then just kind of lightly pull the edges like that. And then from a distance, it looks really nice. And you can add a couple small ones back here, just little V's. Maybe there's one little lonely bird over here. Usually, actually, you know what? Let's do this one in twos, because typically you don't want lonely birds. You want to do like twos or threes. So I'm going to add just a few little, just specks of shapes. And I don't like that at all, so let's go back. I'll turn that into a bird instead. Happy little accidents, like Bob Ross said. We'll just turn, since we already have two over there, we're going to make this one be like 5 birds, like that. There we go. Some people, odd numbers tend to look really good. I like twos though, so that's just all personal preference. You hear a lot of artists and painters teach, do things in odd numbers, and I don't think that's always the case. I like twos. I only have 2 trees here, but if you really want to follow that rule, you can add another tree over here. Make it a family of 3. This case is just a couple of trees. A nice little happy couple. They don't have any children yet, so. And there we have it. Quick painting done in 24 minutes now, total time. I could have done this a lot faster, and I could also take my time more. Took my time with the mountains and stuff, added more details to it. But you can see it still looks really nice, even though I did it really fast. So, and that's just showing you the technique, the power of using this software with my brushes, the power of my Bob Ross brushes, which only work with PaintStorm. And by the way, PaintStorm is only $20, and then you own it for life. I don't get nothing for that, by the way. I'm not a sponsor or anything. I don't have no special affiliate link. They should sponsor me because I really do promote their software. It's absolutely amazing. It's my favorite software to paint with. And so yeah, they get free promotion out of me. Anyway, so check it out. It's really awesome. $20, you own it for life. Free updates for life. So if they upgrade it to like a super monster program or it becomes super popular like Photoshop, you will have access to those updates for life, even if they come to a paid per year or anything in the future. But for now, it's still $20. I would jump on it now just in case it does get super popular. But it is kind of really limited to doing more like painting, and like I also do more fine art painting with it, like figure painting and stuff like that. It's really good for all that kind of stuff. I have another set of brushes which aren't on my site yet. I do plan to put them on there, I think, and that is they're my Neil painting brushes. These are my painting brushes that I do abstract. I have this really cool abstract brush I made. It took me a long time to develop this brush nicely. But I also have all these really nice painting brushes that I use. And I actually end up only using a few of them actually when I do paintings. Those are my favorite. I tend to use those more than anything else. But they're absolutely amazing. But anyway, if you want to learn how to paint like Bob Ross, go to my website, masterpaintingnow.com. Then click on Art Courses, and then click on the Bob Ross painting there. And if you want to just get my brushes, go to the Join the Newsletter page. You'll see the link to download the brushes. And then, hey, sign up to the newsletter as a thank you and a way to be notified in the future when I come out with cool courses or add more brushes, whatever news, I come out with a really cool lesson here on YouTube, and I can notify you guys every now and again. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It literally takes you a second. Just smash the like button. Smash it. Come on, man. Just click it for a second. It really does help the channel out. Honestly, just you doing that one little act of kindness helps the channel grow, so I appreciate it. Okay, leave comments if you have any questions or just want to leave comments. Leave comments. Like, for example, what would you like to see next? If I do another painting like this, what kind of Bob Ross painting would you like to see? Would you like to see, I don't know, something with a cabin in it, a snow, desert? What would you like to see? Okay, thanks for watching.